When I was on my quest to get healthy, I was struggling with psoriasis, acne, weight fluctuation, migraines, severe asthma symptoms, hormone imbalances, and more. And I tried every diet out there. Anything that an expert would say would help, I would follow. I was on a diet for diagnosis mentality. I just wanted to feel better. Now, through my own experience and coaching for the past 10 years, I've noticed that there are 3 mistakes being made over and over and over again in every single person's journey. And it's harming you, and it's not allowing you to heal as quickly as you could. Today, in today's episode, I want to dive into these 3 mistakes and share with you what you can do to avoid making them so you can actually get to feeling better and get to the other side of what's going on in your life. Welcome to the Therapeutic Food Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Marian Mitchell. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, therapeutic diet expert, and founder of The Road to Living Whole. There are many different diets out there. It's hard to know which one is right for you with your chronic illness and autoimmune disease. In this podcast, I'm going to share with you the foundational pieces every single therapeutic diet out there shares, and also how to use the best one for your particular diagnosis. If you've been looking for a meal planning partner, help navigating the complicated healthcare system, and want to feel better quickly, I'm your girl. Grab your kombucha and notebook. Let's dive in. Therapeutic diets absolutely have their place. I mean, that's my specialty. Helping people follow therapeutic diets necessary to help them regain their health. However, there are 3 traps people fall into that set them up for frustration at best, and at worst make their health problems worse due to nutrient deficiencies and sometimes even developing an eating disorder. Your motives are pure, you want to feel better, and each expert is promising that their way of eating is the right way. It's worked for all of these people. Why wouldn't it work for me, right? I've been there, and I was able to move out of this diet for diagnosis mentality and find the real foundation for a healthy diet I could do and supports my health long term. I'm grateful for my journey. It makes me a better health coach, and I'm able to help a wide variety of people. What took me years to learn, I can teach in just a few weeks, typically about 3 months. What are these mistakes that people are making when they're trying to diet for their diagnosis? Mistake number 1 is doing a complete 180 from what you're currently eating and jumping into that therapeutic diet 100% with both feet. Sounds like it'd be a good thing, but I'll tell you why it's not in just a second. Mistake number 2 is staying on that therapeutic diet for too long. And mistake number 3 is going right back to the way you were eating before you started on this journey. These might not sound like harmful strategies, but let me explain why they are, and then I'll tell you what to do instead. So again, mistake number 1 is jumping from what you're eating currently straight into that therapeutic diet. You want to feel better. You've been feeling awful for a very long time, and you just want to feel good again so you can live your life. So you hear about a diet, or your doctor tells you you need to be on a diet that's supposed to help you, and you're like, I'm doing this, I'm jumping in with both feet. But then you find it takes so much mental effort and time, it's only sustainable for a couple of weeks. Then you feel like a complete failure and like you're doomed to suffer your symptoms forever because you, quote unquote, lack the willpower to stick with it. The reason this doesn't work is directly linked to the fact that jumping into a new diet and doing a complete 180 from what you have been doing requires so much more mental effort than we expect. It requires us to change the way that we meal plan, grocery shop, prep, and cook our meals. Also, where we dine out when we go out to eat. It's basically a brand new lifestyle. And doing it all at once is basically impossible. You haven't failed at anything. You've just bit off more than you can chew. A much more realistic and sustainable approach is to make over what I call your food baseline first. So we're going to improve the way that we eat and make that second nature so that it requires very little thought and effort. And once you get to that point, we'll strategically make changes over a couple of weeks to transition onto that therapeutic diet. Mistake number 2 is staying on that therapeutic diet for way too long. So therapeutic diets are restrictive in nature. We're removing the foods that are inflaming your body and harming it in some way, and we're replacing it with foods that are nutrient dense that are going to help your body heal. Therapeutic diets typically last anywhere from 30 days to 6 months, usually the 3 to 6 month range. They aren't meant to be your new dietary lifestyle forever. The reason they can't be is because of how restrictive they are in nature. For a short time, they're extremely beneficial, but for the long haul, they're too restrictive. There's not enough nutrients, and some of them you can become nutrient depleted, and if you stay because you've stayed on it for too long, and if you stay nutrient depleted for too long, you can have permanent damage from these deficiencies. So I have a couple of examples. I've seen people stay on the ketogenic diet for too long, and then their thyroids completely crash and they have to take thyroid medications for life. Okay, and the reason is that, yes, our hormones are made from fat and cholesterol, but they're also made from carbohydrates. So when, the ketogenic diet, extremely beneficial for, nervous system issues, seizures, neuropathy, type 1 diabetes, sometimes it's used for that to help get it under control. Extremely beneficial, and that's great. But there's a certain amount of time that you stay on them, even when they use it as a tool for children with seizure disorders that can't be controlled with medication. The longest they leave them on there is 2 years. And they also know that it will impact the thyroid in that time. Okay. Most of the time you'll stay on a true ketogenic diet for anywhere from 21 days to 12 weeks. You typically don't stay on it longer than that in a therapeutic environment. The other one that I've seen a lot of people use incorrectly is a low FODMAP diet. They stay on it for too long and actually get permanent neuropathy from nutrient deficiencies. And also I've seen with people who've stayed on it for too long, I'm talking 2, 5, 7 years, which is way longer than the 21 days it was designed for, end up developing disordered eating and require much more intervention than they would have if they'd followed the diet properly and got in the proper treatment when they were supposed to. Staying on therapeutic diets for too long can actually cause you to become afraid of food. You need to eat, so please eat. Not only do you need nutrients and calories, but food brings us closer to those that we love to spend time with. It builds community and connection. It's an important part of being a human being. Therapeutic diets absolutely have their place. They're a tool in the therapeutic toolbox. Big fan of them. But very few of them are designed to be long-term dietary lifestyles. Number 3, going back to your old way of eating right after you get off of that therapeutic diet. This is typically the rule followers. They follow the rules to a T, no matter how hard it is, completely rigid, no flexibility. And then when they're told, hey, you've been on this for 12 weeks, we can start adding some foods in, they go absolutely nuts and eat all of the things. And a lot of it's like the sugar-laden, highly processed, foods, maybe stuff that they, were told to abstain from, like gluten and all these things. And they end up worse off than they were. And all that hard work that they just did gets flushed down the toilet. That's not healthy either. If the goal is lifetime health and management of symptoms, You need to eat in a way that supports that for life. The therapeutic diet is there for when you have a flare-up of your symptoms. And like I said, it's a great, fantastic short-term tool. But your regular diet, your food baseline, is what will keep you healthy or not healthy for life. This is why you've been frustrated. This is why you might even be feeling like you're doomed to feel awful forever. It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. There's no shame here. There's no blame. You just need guidance. It's time to get out of that diet for diagnosis cycle. Make over your normal way of eating to support the healthy life you desire. Learn how to use your therapeutic diet properly, right? And then learn how to get back to your food baseline, what that food baseline looks like for your condition, so that you can enjoy food again while experiencing vibrant health. Luckily, it's not as hard as it seems. It's just different. It requires a complete mindset shift away from a pill for every ill or diet for every diagnosis and onto something so much better. Tangible, realistic, healthy living that can be done for life. That's the goal, right? No more dieting for every diet out there. No more spending all your mental energy searching for answers. You're able to enjoy food again. Your symptoms are improving. You need less medication, less supplements, less herbs. And you're feeling better. You're not being held back by these debilitating symptoms. And you're enjoying your amazing life. Typically, seeing a health coach is the absolute last resort. People, want to figure it out on their own. They've already spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars going to different doctors and running all the tests and, buying the $500 a month in supplements and medication. I get it. But I've helped people get out of this cycle for 10 years, and I love every single minute of it. And when diet is right, everything else works more effectively and more quickly. I actually have a name for the framework that I walk my clients through, and it's called the Therapeutic Food Framework. And here's what it looks like. So step 1 is learning what healthy eating actually looks like. We think we know, but there's a lot of nutrition noise out there. Eggs are good for you. Eggs are bad for you. Butter's bad for you. Butter's good for you. Eat steak. Meat's bad for you. It's going to give you cancer. You just okay, can you guys get your story straight? I got the story straight. Okay. And how I did that is through my own dietary journey and my schooling to become a health coach, where we looked into over 100 different dietary theories. And I realized, hey, they all start in the same place. So I teach you what that place is. And I also teach you how to make that work in your life, not only at home, but outside of your home. We can't live in a bubble where we never go anywhere. We never hang out with people. We live in community. So I teach you how to do that. And once that becomes easier with less mental effort, so typically it takes 21 days to make over a habit, right? So typically 3 to 4 weeks of being consistent and kind of working out the kinks and figuring it all out and finding the recipes that we like, right? Then we're able to move on to the therapeutic diet. And this is eating for your diagnosis. But there's a right way to do it. And what I have found is when I was developing my meal plan programs is I would look at all the major experts in that category. And I would look at all the different recommendations they have, their diets they recommend, and I would look for all the things they have in common. Plus, with my experience as a health coach, what would be realistic for people to stick to? And I built my programs around that. So I teach you how to follow that therapeutic diet correctly with meal plans and step-by-step guides for the correct amount of time, and then at the end of that time, I teach you how to transition off of it and onto a way of eating that's going to support your health for life. Because you deserve to feel amazing. and live the life that you desire. And you need to know how to eat in a way that supports your health long term. What do you do when you're not in a flare? Everyday life, how do I eat to support my health to prevent future flares or minimize them when they do come up, and then how to use a therapeutic diet for when those flares are coming up, and then again, transition off of it. When it comes to autoimmune disease and chronic illness, typically you have flares and then they go back down and you're able to kind of function normally. And that can be due to virus or stress or, life happens. You haven't failed at anything, but it's like, okay, this is how I eat to support my health long term. The flares are minimal. I know what to do immediately when I start feeling down. I switch to my therapeutic diet, and then, okay, I'm feeling good. I'm going to go back to my normal way of eating. That's kind of the life of those of us with autoimmune disease and chronic illness. And I want to teach you how to make that as easy as possible. Changing the way that you eat is truly changing your lifestyle. It's necessary when you are struggling with autoimmune disease or chronic illness, but it doesn't have to be drastic and miserable. Food is so much more than calories and nutrients. It's connection. It makes us happy. At least it does me. I love food. And it brings people together. And that's what matters. Eating for your health should be just as emotionally satisfying as not eating for your health. One of the reasons I became a health coach was because I wanted to help people with eating for your health so that it's not miserable. So this is the method I've been teaching, the therapeutic food framework, and I'm so excited to announce that it is now an online course. My schedule gets pretty full, and I wanted to be able to help more people and not make them wait any longer than they have to. I don't want you to have to wait. You've already been on this journey a while by the time you're like, okay, I need extra help, and I want to be able to be there for you. I'm super excited about it. And if you've been in this place and you're ready to be like, oh man, that sounds amazing. I want to know how to eat for life. Then go to my website and check it out, roadtolivingwhole.com/therapeutic food framework, and look it over. And if you're still not sure if it's a good fit for you because you have a lot of stuff going on, go ahead and schedule a discovery call where you and I can talk. You can share with me your story, what's been going on, and I can answer your questions to see if the framework is a good fit for you. That's really important, and I'm happy to do that. Quick review of the 3 mistakes people make when they're trying to eat for their diagnosis. Number 1, doing a complete 180 from what you've been doing and jumping into that therapeutic diet. Number 2, staying on that diet for far too long. And number 3, after you're done with the therapeutic diet, going right back to the way that you were eating before, or maybe even worse. To finally learn how to eat for your health so that your body can heal and you can also enjoy food again, you need to learn what healthy eating actually looks like and how to make that work in your life. And then you need to learn how to use and follow a therapeutic diet correctly, including staying on it the correct amount of time, and then transitioning off of it and back onto a healthy way of eating for your health that is easy for you to stick to for life. And we can do that together in the therapeutic food framework. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you found this episode helpful, would you do me a favor and help others find it by leaving a review, sharing a screenshot on social media, or sharing the link with a friend? By you sharing what you've learned, others are able to find this podcast and join our community. Be sure to check out my website, www.roadtolivingwhole.com, for over 160 delicious recipes, a variety of meal plans, and a blog packed full of even more healthy living tips. If you'd like to learn more about how to work with me as your coach, you can schedule a free consult through www.roadtolivingwhole.com/health-coaching/. Until next time, friend. Bye.